So disregarding what's been mentioned so far, somehow being religious makes someone a more moral person than an atheist.
But you're the one that says there's no God, there's no right, there's no wrong.
What the religious relentlessly miss is they think violence is a moral choice related to one's belief in God. However, what we find is people's violence is the result of child abuse. It's not a choice. Furthermore, the market social system is based on violence, two parties both attempting to gain the better end of the deal. The idea that believing in God will make you more moral is equally as ridiculous as believing forms of punishment, such as jail, will correct violent behaviour. The only appropriate attitude for man to have about the big questions is not the arrogant certitude that is the hallmark of religion, but doubt. Doubt is humble, and that is what man needs to be, considering that human history is just a litany of getting shit dead wrong. This is why rational people, anti-religionists, must end their timidity and come out of the closet and assert themselves. And those who consider themselves only moderately religious really need to look at the mirror and realize that the solace and comfort that religion brings you actually comes at a terrible price. If you belong to a political party or a social club that was tied to as much bigotry, misogyny, homophobia, violence, and sheer ignorance as religion is, you'd resign in protest. To do otherwise is to be an enabler, a mafia wife, where the true devils of extremism that draw their legitimacy from the billions of their fellow travellers. It's been science that has been solving problems, and religion leeches off scientific understandings to unnaturally exist, like an air conditioner attached to a church in summer. Lighthouses are more useful than churches.
Hi, my name is Albert Gross. I was wondering if you might have a moment to discuss your eternal happiness.
Yeah, sure. Come on in.
Through a global preaching campaign, God is making known the good news about His kingdom governed by Jesus Christ. Those who respond are gathering into a place of spiritual protection and healing. Soon we'll experience freedom from all injustice and suffering.
Seems to me like just the opposite is happening.
That's because human government is still under the control of Satan. The perfect government is in heaven. From there, the King Jesus Christ will rule all the earth.
So how do you think King Jesus plans to address the ever-widening holes in the ozone layer? Or the missing stockpiles of weapons-grade plutonium?
Well, I think that God will solve all of mankind's problems in His own way.
Albert, look. This is an enormously complex world we live in, and its problems are multiplying every day. Now, we're not going to solve those problems by going door to door and asking people to get down on their knees and pray to the sky. Shouldn't a bright young man like you be doing something constructive? I'm going to write down a couple of websites for you to check out that will hopefully enlighten you a little bit.
On the subject of the existence of religious prophets, such as Christianity's Jesus, Islam's Muhammad, they may have existed in some way in history. However, religious people will think that gives them a foot in the door regarding their logical offences. Fictional miracles and nonsense like a virgin birth, riding a magical flying horse, walking on water, angels, the vague self-referring cult language like God and the Holy Spirit, which is ignorance attempting to disguise itself as wisdom, talking snakes, water into wine, cannibalism, rape, slavery, mental slavery, killing of babies, female slavery.
The whole subservient, cook, clean, take your shoes off, and grab you a beer as soon as you walk through the door.
Really?
I do.
Oh.
So you do everything you can to take care of your man. So whatever he says, do it.
Okay, stand up, take your top off. Hey, it works.
Of course, gender inequality can also go the other way. There are females who worship themselves simply because they're female. In the extreme, it's the assumption that the male gender is simply evil. Anytime a man has sex with a woman, it's rape. It's impossible for a woman to rape or be violent towards a man. And since men always enjoy sex, they wouldn't care about being raped by a woman. Men will supposedly learn something by being raped by other men in jail. Male violence against women in video games is highlighted, while men being violent to men in games is ignored. The feminist movement hopes to promote the female gender as superior to the male, which is the promotion of division, not equality like it will claim, along with the promotion of minority groups in roles to fit an equal representation quota rather than a quality output quota. What is needed is not one gender or race to be considered better over the other, but for us to work as a team for our survival. In a hunter-gatherer situation, for example, the male role as the strong hunter and leader and the female role as an elegant carer is not sexist, but reality. Because men are physically stronger than women and generally are more interested in science, this shouldn't imply that women have no strength at all or are just stupid and can't use reason. Men and women have different biological roles, and women don't have the role of leadership for the most part. In a possible open source society, the role of the leader is actually not fit for a single man like we see with nations today. As our society becomes increasingly more complex, it would be too arrogant to honestly say that we can be led by a single human male because of our own biological limitations. Instead, we must be led by science, what is true through continuous testing. Of course, science is a field dominated by men, but that doesn't mean it's strictly a men's-only club. But there shouldn't be a push for either men or women to do certain jobs that we aren't suited for. We should not be led by the gut feeling of political agendas on the left or right. Politics is obsolete. There will be no courses which encourage division and nonsense like gender studies. When women are presented as strong and sexy in media, this is considered as bad by feminists, and that it's violence against women because it promotes rape culture or something. Feminists want women in fiction to be strong, yet non-violent. This implies feminists are unable to tell the difference between fantasy and reality. In a video game, no one wants to be a character which is a loser, like Lester the Unlikely, or a super fat lazy cunt. Male or female, we want to be an empowered, badass character. And being sexy is part of being badass. So, the feminist demand of a strong female character, yet non-sexualized, is impossible because humans are sexual. This non-sexualized goal is similar to the Anti-Sex Party in 1984, and the Lecture also in 1984, where the orgasm is hoped to be removed from the human being. Insanity beyond measure. Video games are about recreational problem solving. Political agendas are not compatible with it. So this campaign against video games is a campaign against problem solving in general. When women are empowered, they're being suppressed by the thought of equality. The overall result of all of this is the price of a woman is increased dramatically, which leaves me with a real doll as a companion.